One thing's for certain, in being a solution-driven entrepreneur, one must be curious all the time. That's what I believe. In curiosity, you'll be able to spot faults even in things that have already been created. So then you can come up with an easier way to redesign something or improve it.
Hi everyone, this is David Ocean Podcast. In this podcast, I engage founders, thought leaders, and seasoned professionals in conversation that inspire the younger generation and aspiring professionals. This is one podcast you can't afford to miss. Thank you so much and enjoy. It's so exciting today as we welcome Jesse Luila into the studio. Jesse is someone with a wealth of experience in entrepreneurship. He's won many outstanding awards for his contribution both to the tech space and to the entrepreneurship world. He's been a mentor to many people, and he's ready to share and so passionate to share from his wealth of wisdom with us in this podcast. So Jesse, over to you. Tell us about how you started. Tell us about what drives you, your core, lot more.
Hi, David. Thanks for having me. So, the story started when I was young. I would say because I was curious, I went into computer studies at a very young age. At the age of 10 already, I started studying with computers. However, fast forward, after going into a high school in South Africa, Cape Town, and university, when I graduated and came back home, I couldn't find a job in software engineering. So I started building websites for individuals, small businesses, and large companies. Some are government-owned companies, some are private companies. So the journey really started because I was looking for a job and I couldn't find one, or there weren't any available.
All right, great. Let's go into the next question now. As an entrepreneur, what were the main challenges you faced while starting off?
Challenges I faced starting off, well, just knowledge, because I only knew what I knew. So things like understanding regulations, understanding business and how businesses operate. It was a lot of challenges that any young entrepreneur or young individual would face, or even a new entrepreneur, because I had to get out of my comfort zone to fully understand what it takes to run a business. And one challenge I can mention is working with a multitude of clients and then trying to hire the right people to manage these clients with you. So the hiring was a bit difficult. Another one was we built a payment gateway solution. We won an award from UNDP and MTC, the largest telecommunications company in Namibia. And I couldn't take it to scale because I didn't have 5 million Namibian dollars. And I could have attained that money if I had the knowledge of investors, and I didn't know about investors. So that was also a major challenge for me. The other one was, just to mention a few, launching a business and not able to make it to revenue. That was my first idea, actually. A few years after starting my web consultation. So I did the consultation business first for about 7 years, and then I wanted to build products, and my first product gained a lot of momentum and popularity. However, I couldn't make money through it because the environment of Namibia did not accept payment gateways like Stripe, PayPal, and all these other cool stuff like Flutter, etc. So that was a huge obstacle. So I closed that application down in the first 3 months. I believe that an application should make money in the first 3 months. If not, then one should think of a new idea quickly. Even if it's small money, it doesn't have to be significant money. The fact that people are paying shows that there's interest and in what you're doing and you're solving a real problem.
Let me jump in quickly. When you stopped that business, how did you get funds to be able to start up a new idea?
Good question. So I started another one. Firstly, I was about to launch patient care actually, but I couldn't launch patient care due to regulations. So then I decided I would solve my own problems that I was facing in the web consultancy business. And one of the problems was invoicing. My payments would be delayed because I would have an invoice number wrong, or just the small details really. And that was quite frustrating because you're young and you need to receive your money at a certain time so that you can pay your rent and your bills. So I then built a company called Cylon Accounting, and in the first month we saw revenue, second month we saw revenue. We got into an accelerator program called Startup Wise Guys, a pre-accelerator for 3 months. And we gained the fundamental knowledge to run a business. And I guess they liked me as an entrepreneur, but they definitely liked Cylon Accounting. And Cylon Accounting then got into the accelerator, which is 6 months. And during that time, I also changed the name from Cylon Accounting to Nickel. And it's through the accelerator that I learned about investors, what a startup is, the legal structures, financial structures, fundraising mechanisms, and possibilities around the world, not just locally. And that accelerator really boosted me as an entrepreneur, I must admit.
So you are saying that you advise anyone who want to have a startup to go through accelerator?
Definitely, Mr. David. I would also advise that they find a mentor and an advisor, because if you can't get into an accelerator, be it local or international accelerator, at least you'd have access to a mentor that has done this before, and that mentor can then assist and guide you through
Okay. Is this something you are considering to have later as a startup in the future?
Well, my man, now that you ask, I'm not considering on having an accelerator startup. So patient care, we managed to find, we've been talking to a few investors around the world, and we managed to find an investor that would like to invest in the medical world and medical businesses. So one of my key strategies is build relationships with investors. I don't just look at investors as a money-making or money-giving machine. I look at investors as individuals that can bring in a huge network, a lot of guidance, and also a lot of money. The money is nice, but it's nicer with guidance, mentorship, and networks to scale. So in patient care, we found one of the investors that invests in medical businesses. So we're partnering up with this investor so that we can accelerate doctors so that they can have practices, accelerate pharmacists so that they can have pharmacies, accelerate scientists so that they can have laboratories. And our accelerator program would then be 3 months. And at the end of the program, the investor comes in and helps with funding for facilities so that they can then become entrepreneurs. And we connect them with lawyers, financial people, real estate people, which is quite exciting. And that's why I laughed when you asked, because it's something my team and I have been talking about for the past week, and I think we'll launch it in September. And one of our priorities is to empower ladies in the medical world, because the medical world is interesting. You'd find that 70% of professionals are women. And that's an interesting number. And also seeing that the 70% of women
Let me
Yes,
ask this
yes. Please go
quickly.
ahead. Please go ahead.
One of the main challenges that startup face is that they don't generate revenue internally. So the funding they receive from investors is to kind of employ technical staffs and do a lot of operations. So once the funding kind of finishes, they don't know what to do next and to close. So I want to ask for patient care. How do you generate revenue?
I always tell young entrepreneurs you shouldn't think of an investor as a save you person or organization. They're not there to save you. So if you can't start a startup and in the first 3 months or 6 months you're running this without funding, what will funding actually help you with? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So if you can't prove your model can make money, if you can't prove you're a good founder by managing people and your organization and drive the vision forward, how will investor money help? Because when investor money is finished, the question is, are you going to shut down your company or are you going to keep running it? And I always say, rather focus on making money than focus on getting investors. Because when you make money, investors will come, right? And it will be an easy conversation to have. And the money
How
that
does
investors are
patient care
giving,
make money?
how does patient care make money? We make money by making sure our doctors make money. So what that means is that we've created a revenue sharing model, and by doctors making money, we make money. By pharmacies making money, we make money. By hospitals making money, we make money. So we make sure that our key stakeholders make money. That's our first focus. And if our key stakeholders make money, we automatically make money by default, because we are creating a platform that gives them access to a big pool of patients, right? So by giving them access, we make money, and with this money, we're able to keep the business sustainable and keep it running, and also impact a lot of lives in the process.
All right, great. In Namibia, is there any startup that currently runs the same model that you use?
No, no one. And in fact, our health. Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
No, don't worry. You can talk. You can talk, man. Don't worry.
I was just going to add on to that, which is our health coverage model does not exist globally, and we're doing a patent as we
So
speak.
that means in Namibia there is no startup at all that does what you guys do.
Nope. We have startups that work in the pharmaceutical area, so they provide a software into pharmacies so that patients can connect with a pharmacist or a doctor. But the catch is you have to be in the pharmacy. So it's not remote, right? Whereas with patient care, you can consult a pharmacist or doctor from your house or your office or your farm or your village, which is much more remote. That's the closest competitor we have in the market. They're called Dr.
So
Macu.
that means that patient care has the kind of a first mover advantage in Namibia currently. Yeah. How has the reception been in Namibia right now? How are people responding to what patient care is doing?
Since launch, we launched on the 7th of June. In the first week, we already had 100 doctors on our platform. Currently, we boast more than 200 doctors in Namibia. In Nigeria, we started an onboarding session of 100 doctors. Within 24 hours, we saw 500 doctors. And Nigerian market just shocked us, because we've not seen so much interest in 24 hours. So it shows we're doing something good and we're solving a real problem. For South Africa, we've got a database of 300,000 that we'll start onboarding in September.
Straight line question here. How can someone be a solution driven entrepreneur?
My first advice is one needs to be curious, right? And in curiosity, you'll always find an easy way to solve a problem. Um, as an example, my first idea ever in my career was to build a system that allows a homeowner to manage and monitor all the electricity in the house. And I couldn't even get that product to go out or go anywhere because I didn't know anything. It was in my first year of university. So, one thing's for certain, in being a solution driven entrepreneur, one must be curious all the time. That's what I believe. In curiosity, you'll be able to spot faults even in things that have already been created. So then you can come up with an easier way to redesign something or improve it to solve problems. And another point of being a solution driven entrepreneur, you solve problems with solutions. So what I mean by that is, I'm in the tech world and I try to solve everything with technology. And what that means is, if I find a problem, the first point of action is the technology. A good example would be what inspired me to build patient care. Firstly, my dad has diabetes, and him getting medication, and also is an elderly. So him getting medication is a big problem. I mean, an elderly person driving to a pharmacy is danger for his life, and thereafter also the whole getting the medication, driving back. There needed to be a simpler option, an easier way. So then that's where patient care's idea also came from. The other one is that what even brought more energy to it was during the COVID-19 pandemic. I started seeing doctors consult with patients on WhatsApp calls, and doctors providing prescriptions via WhatsApp, and then the pharmacy accepting those WhatsApp prescriptions and delivering the medication to the patient. And one of the problems was that doctors would complain they're not getting paid for this. So I then saw that problem and came up with a digital solution for it, and that's how patient care was birthed. So we really just took the existing model and digitalized it. So one could say, taking something that people do on paper and digitalizing it. Maybe a good idea would be, every household needs a gardener, right? And gardeners are individual people that are doing this to obviously survive in this world, like all of us. Now, a good idea would be, how do I make sure that gardeners get more customers, and also the gardeners are vetted and they're safe to work with? Because some gardeners could be criminals that you just found and now you trust them in your family's yard. So now the solution would be to create a platform, a digital platform that has given vetted gardeners and also gives gardeners the opportunity to find more houses, thus giving them more customers. And all you've done as a tech person is take an already existing model and digitalized it. I hope that final example kind of
Yes, it does.
helps.
Obviously, it does, and great work you guys are doing. Great work. My question is,
Thank
how
you.
do you vet doctors that come on a platform? Remember, this is has to do with life. So, what's the process by which you vet people you put on your platform?
Thank you for that question, Mr. David. So the governments have already created a regulation for doctors, and what that means is doctors need to have a license to practice, a valid license, in fact, not a expired license. So what we do is we tap directly into that system. The first initial process is make sure that the doctor has this license before they can even be uploaded onto our platform. And then we have a second mechanism which comes from the patients. So, based on the experience with the doctor or the healthcare worker, because we deal with different kinds of healthcare workers, not only doctors, the patient can drop a rating, and then if this healthcare worker gets, say, 10 ratings below two stars for the next 10 consultations, the system automatically flags it, and we get into conversation with the doctor. There's two things. It's either we find out why, maybe it could be communication, or if it's not communication, we take the doctor out of the system, because one of our key values is providing quality healthcare. Not only affordable healthcare, but also quality. So in order to ensure quality healthcare, we need to ensure that the doctors on the platform are providing quality medical reports, quality communication, quality advice, quality medication, and that's how we ensure that our
All right, one
doctors and our
question I want
patients
to
are
ask
happy.
is what are the core values that drive your success? What are the core values that principles that drive your success?
Core values for me, speed. Everything must be done fast. The reason for that is because the quicker you can fail, the quicker you can improve. So things must move really fast. The other one is quality. Even in doing things fast, we must ensure quality still and not compromise on quality ever. The other one is communication, because I personally believe even if you have a PhD and you cannot communicate, you will not go far in life. And even if you have no qualification and you can communicate, you will go extremely far in life. So I believe communication is a big key. The other one is integrity. You can't be building business when the people you're building it with, or the people that are investing in you, or the people that are partnering in you, don't trust you and don't believe that you and your word is enough, even though you've proven that your word is enough. And then that also falls in with transparency. So integrity and transparency in the same line. And I would say those are my key values, and those are the values I move with in the companies as well. Every company I work with, every partner I work with, I make sure that that is known all the time. And maybe one more thing I forgot. Teamwork. I almost forgot the most important component, teamwork. I wouldn't have gotten this far if it wasn't for my team. I mean, I only know what I know, and everybody else brings in their value. So what that means is that, look at a business like a car. If your clutch is not working, your car will not move. If your brakes are not working, your life is in danger. So every component of the company is important, because they help move the car forward, and that's why the team is the most important thing for me as well.
What would you want to be your legacy when you finally leave this earth? So let me get your perspective about it.
Yes, my legacy. Well, firstly, I want to leave generational wealth for my family. I think I'm a family man, so I think that's one of my key drivers. And I would also like to leave generational wealth for those I work with and those I empower. And not to mention, I would like to bring communities out of poverty in Africa. And poverty can mean so many things, but for me, one would be financial poverty and also health poverty. So a healthier society and also a more financially included society. And by reaching those goals, I feel I'll be fulfilled in life and I'll be ready to go
Thank you
when my
so
time
much
comes.
for your time and for sharing a whole lot of wisdom wealth of experience with us on this podcast. We are so grateful. Thank you so much, Jesse. And to everyone that
Thank you, Mr.
listened to the
David.
end of this podcast, you are the real MVPs. We appreciate you and thanks so much. Don't forget to join us on social media on Facebook, LinkedIn, on TikTok. Just search for David Oshin and you're going to find me, find our podcast. You can also search for Djtconcept. We upload all of our podcasts there also. Thank you. See you next time. So watch out for our next guest on David Oshin podcast. Is gonna be fire packed. Trust me, I bring the very best to come and inspire you. Thank you so much.